You are now listening to theGrio's Black Podcast Network, Black Culture Amplified.
Hello. Have you ever been to someone's house and say, man, I can't believe how they decorated this place or how this place smells? Or have you ever been in a neighborhood and said, man, we need to do things different around here? Have you ever been into a classroom and wanted to change the way the teacher taught history? If so, I want to welcome you to theGrio Daily, the only podcast that will tell you if you might be a colonizer. Yeah, man. So we like to think of colonization as, taking over a country or a region. You can colonize anything. If you have been worried about whether or not you're a colonizer, then we want to help you out. Because, there are certain people who are colonizers who have no idea that they were colonizers. So for instance, once I received this email and the person was white and she had moved into this neighborhood and she wanted to know if she was wrong or right about a specific thing. So she moved into this neighborhood. Right under her was a bar or I don't know if it was a bar or a restaurant, but whatever it was, they had a lot of people or customers who drove motorcycles. I guess they sold, I guess it was just a motorcycle riders hangout spot. And she said that they would be out there late at night. So sometimes she couldn't sleep. And so she was wondering if it would be right or wrong for her to call the police. Now, here is what I say. Here's my answer. If you live in a place and people start hanging out there and they infringe upon your sleeping habits or, they make you uncomfortable, then you have a right to say something unless that thing existed before you got there. So if it was the motorcycle spot when you got there, then you chose to live at the motorcycle spot, right? So everybody who visits the motorcycle spot is doing the things that the people at the motorcycle spot do. And if you choose to live at the motorcycle spot, but don't want the people at the motorcycle spot to act like people who visit the motorcycle spot, then you're colonizing the motorcycle spot. That's how you colonize things. It's not just going to a place. It is expecting everything in that place to change because of who you are or because of how you feel, right? So it wasn't that white people came to America that means they colonized this country. It's because they slaughtered, killed, and genocide the natives who were here that made them colonizers. It's because they said, hey, you're savages, like that's really in the charter, the 1609 Charter of Virginia, right? To civilize the savages, teach them about the true nature of God. That made them colonizers because those Native Americans, they had a religion. They had a government. They had a society that was already set up. And when you don't just ask them to change or introduce them to a new idea, but when you kill them, insist on them adhering to your principles, you're colonizing. And the same is true for bunch of other things, right? Colonizing is not just asking or suggesting people change things. It's changing things that benefit yourself. How do you colonize things? First, you got to take it, right? Like colonizers take things, but people who take things are thieves. All colonizers aren't thieves, and all thieves aren't colonizers. The thing that makes you a colonizer is if you want to change the definition of the theft or some things that have been colonized besides lands. Here's a great example. the patent system, the idea of inventing things, right, was colonized, right? So there was a time when you invented something or was the first person who created something, it was yours. And then we changed that, right? We colonized the invention system. So it wasn't that we said, black people can't invent things, but we created a system that was called the Patent Office. And what the Patent Office said was, we're going to register inventions, which was a good idea, except the person who registered that invention didn't have to be the inventor. They colonized the theft of invention. Here's a great example. There was a guy named Ned. And in the 1850s, Ned was still enslaved, a black guy. He was enslaved, and he invented a machine. The double plow scraper is what Ned invented. And what it did, this is not important to the story, but now, because of what Ned invented, you could go down a row of cotton and pick the cotton on both sides instead of one side. Like, you didn't have to go down one row, then go down the same row on the other side. Ned invented it. Ned's owner said, well, yeah, Ned invented it, but I should get the patent on it. And I should get the patent on it because black people aren't citizens. I own Ned. I am responsible for black people. And this is what he said, actually, in the letter. Black people don't have the competence to invent things. So Ned was able to invent a cotton scraper because I made him big cotton. He colonized Ned's invention. And not only did he colonize Ned's invention, the Attorney General of the United States of America heard about this dispute, and he wrote an opinion that says, well, he kind of right? Like, black people ain't citizens because we colonized this country and invented a way to determine what a citizen is. They colonized citizenship. The Native Americans weren't citizens until the 1940s. People don't know that, right? Even though they lived here. And black people weren't citizens, even though they lived in America and built this country. They weren't considered citizens until the passage of the 14th Amendment. As a matter of fact, the definition of owned was colonized too, right? Before white people came here, the people who owned the land was the people who lived on it, right? They were the caretakers of the land. There wasn't even a concept of land ownership. Like when we talk about like people bought in New York for $24 worth of beads, that's kind of a myth because the Native Americans who quote unquote sold the island of Manhattan, oh, they were scamming the white people. They were like, these stupid people believed that they could own land. But they didn't know that before white people had colonized Manhattan, they had colonized the definition of own. If you said you owned it, you owned it. And that's how you colonize things. It's not just the theft. It's by taking the definition and making it benefit you. It's by taking the way of life and making it benefit you. That's how the education system was colonized. It didn't just mean educating someone used to mean just teaching them things. And education used to mean the things that you've learned. And then white people colonized it by saying, well, you didn't really learn it unless I give you this piece of paper. Or you take this test written in our language to prove that you know these things. And I will be the one to certify you as educated. Education was colonized by the college boards still. History was colonized because it didn't now just mean the things that have happened in the past. It means the things that we acknowledge have happened. Everything else is fake history. And that's how you colonize things. And you know what? If you've done any of those things, there's a way that you can stop. You can subscribe to this podcast. You can download the theGrio app. You can tell a friend about it. And you don't have to, because you can just listen. I don't want to colonize podcasts. And I don't want to colonize how we leave this program. But I do want to give you our traditional Black saying. And today's Black saying is, you might be a colonizer if you have to ask someone if you're a colonizer. We'll see you next time on the theGrio Daily. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review, download the theGrio app, subscribe to the show, and share it with everyone you know. Please email all questions, suggestions, and compliments to podcast@thegrio.com.
The 80s gave us unforgettable songs from Bob Marley, De La Soul, and Public Enemy.
On the strength of situations unreal, I got a raw deal.
Being Black in the 80s is a podcast docuseries hosted by me, Torre, looking at the most important issues of the 80s through the lens of the decade's songs. A decade when crack kingpins controlled the streets but lost their humanity.
You couldn't be like no soft, smiling, happy-go-lucky drug dealer. You had to suppress that.
It was a time when disco was part of gay liberation.
It provided the information to counter narratives that were given to gay people by the straight world.
This is the funkiest history class you'll ever take. Join me, Torre, for Being Black in the 80s on the theGrio Black Podcast Network or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Available June 1st.